Welcome to the Voice of Houston, right here at UHN-TV, and with myself, Dr. Clara Brent, and also Dr. Bobby Mills as the co-host. We are happy to be back from we've had all this cold weather and everything, and hope that you are just as warm as we are right now. Now, we're looking forward to talking to you in regards to what's going on in this country with our government.
What's going on in the world?
In the world as well, too. I wanted to just bring up our president. I thought his speech was very good when he had his day to talk to the
State of the Union
the State of the Union address. And I agreed with a lot of things he had said. But it seems as if we are still in a fight against white supremacy. And he's fighting hard. And I don't like the way they are not working together to better this country and the people that have elected them. And it doesn't make any sense the way they're treating him in regards to the progress in which he has made in the year that he's been there. Is it 2 years? I think it's a year, though. It hasn't been good 2 years either.
Well, yeah, it's a little over a year.
Just a year or so. And it's if the propaganda is that he's supposed to work miracles as a president right now. And you can't work on miracles, you can't do too much of anything, as I have found out with the knowledge of our government and how it works. You can have all the representatives on your side, and it gets to the Senate, and they can kill it.
Well,
kill it for law anyway.
The president can set the moral tone.
That's about all.
For leadership and what it is as a country we should be about. But unfortunately, you have one political party, the Republican Party, which really now is the Southern Dixiecrat Party. That's what the Republican Party is. It is no longer the party of Abraham Lincoln, because they want to take the country back to the days of slavery.
400 years ago.
Yeah, even
at least 3 or 4.
Even one of their noted political figures from Alabama, Judge Roy Moore, said that America was great when slavery existed. Here.
So we know it's white supremacy that is being pushed.
And so the Republican Party of Abraham Lincoln
is no longer in existence. It's no longer in existence, and we have to accept that fact.
And that's what the problem is. So you have the Republican Party really being the white autocratic party.
What do you mean by brother?
Well, they want the kind of governmental system that exists in Russia.
Dictatorship?
Where it's all about dictatorial white privilege. Because
Russia is already white, so what's the problem?
Well, that's what it is. It's a dictatorial white privilege system, because who lives in Russia other than whites?
That's what I'm saying. So why would they want a dictator then?
Well, because there is something within the psychic of some white people who think that they deserve and other human beings don't.
That's a good answer. Thank you.
And when you think you deserve and others don't, then you're already insane. You'll do anything and everything
to keep that position.
Right, because we know that God judges the righteous and God is angry with the wicked every day. Every day he's angry with wickedness.
And of course, a lot of people don't realize that he is angry and that this thing is going to change, but it's not going to change now.
Right.
That's the issue. But we can do some things because we still hear that is the light of the world. And those that are the light of the world, that means they are of God. Right. And since we are the light of the world, we can do our best to do the things that we should always do, is fight against evil. And the best way in America to fight against evil is to go vote and vote those people out that should not be in office, instead of staying at home saying they're going to do what they want to do anyway. That is a fact, because you're at home and not voting. So that causes you to say, you're helping them to do whatever they want to do by not voting. And if you're in the sound of my voice, go vote.
And not only in the sound of your voice, but in the sound mind.
The sound. Yeah, but if you have a sound mind, it's time to get up off the couch and out of the
if you're not registered.
Yeah, and register if you're not. And if you are registered, a lot of registered ones stay at home and don't go vote. And you need to go and vote and keep this thing happening that's supposed to be happening in America, and that is freedom. Anytime you let a dictator comes in, or dictators in the Senate or the representatives of this country who's supposed to represent you, then they are not doing their fair share of what they should be doing, and they should be taken out of office. And that can happen to those people that think that they are planted in the government, in the Senate, or in the House of Representatives. They are not planted. You make them planted. If they stay there 15 years, you let them stay there 15 years. If they stay there 30 years, you let them stay there 30 years. And it's time to get them out the way, because they are carrying the United States backwards instead of forward. And this is God's given country. He did it, not them. He did it. And what we need to do is, as believers in God.
Well, let's put it another way.
Well, why not put it as another? Believers are staying at home and not doing anything. I want to say that you believers are not doing anything that needs to be done, and you sitting back, letting everything go your way, the way they want it to go, and you don't have to do that. Get out and do what you're supposed to do as the light of this world. Keep God in face of these people. And if you don't keep God in the face of them and you sit at home talking about it, it's not going to work. Our system goes for voting. And if we get this thing mixed up and they pass saying that we don't want any voting anymore, and that's what they're trying to do, Doc, they really are. They're trying to keep us from voting. Not necessarily the black people, everyone, from really voting their conscious mind, And that's all I'm trying to say. I know you have something else you want to say. Go ahead.
No, what I was going to say is that the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. Mm-hmm. And this country was native to American Indians. And we should never forget that the native land that we call America and our home, Indians were living here
way before
prior to whites coming to America
and taking
from
it away
Europe,
of course, and taking it away from them, of course,
and going to Africa
and taking it away from them too,
and bringing slaves here to build the infrastructure. So we should never forget the truth and the fact of what happened to Native Americans, mm-hmm. and who was indigenous to the land. So when we say this is our land, we need to put a little asterisk there and not boldly claim
that
it's ours, because mm-hmm. we have to always remember the genocide that has taken mm-hmm. place
That's true.
among Native American Indians.
And still taking place.
and to a large degree and extent still
Yes, it is.
taking place. But the problem we have, you hit on it a little bit, Dr. Brent, is that we have too many politicians who stay in power, in office, too long, and you don't have new blood
Coming in.
coming in. See, everything must change. Nothing remains the same. So sometimes you need younger, new, fresh blood ideas coming in order to move things
Forward.
forward.
That's true.
And so what we have, especially in our community too often, is a person gets elected to office and they are there till they die.
Yeah, that's being settled because you know the name. You need to know the plan and the pain that you're going through and that they are putting you through if they are not adhering to being your representative, no matter whether they're black, Mexican, white, any color whatsoever in this United States. They need not to be in office if they are not working for the people. And that's all of the people, not a few people, but all of the people. Right. So that this country can be the leader that it's supposed to have been, and that's why God,
the light of the world.
Be the light of the world. And this country has been the light of the world, even in all the mistakes,
even with all of our flaws.
All the flaws, all the mistakes that has been made, it still can be reprimanded, and that's what we need to do, recommend it.
Well, the one thing we do know is that out of the mouths of babes, sometime comes the wisdom of God. I don't know whether you saw recently that the gentleman from West Texas that went and participated in the January 6th.
Yeah, I heard. I didn't see it, but I did hear
overthrow of the government and all of that, and was in conflict with his own
family,
young children, and in fact told his son and his daughter that if they squealed on him, you know what happens to traitors. In other words, threatening his own children, that, you can experience death if you tell what your father is planning to do and what he will do by going to Washington and seeking to overthrow the United States government. And what the
for white supremacy. That's the whole issue behind in a nutshell.
What the father didn't understand is that when they went and attacked the Capitol, they were not just attacking a physical building.
No, they were not.
They were attacking spiritual ideals.
Yes, they were.
That are inculcated in the Constitution of the United States and the preamble. Because in that document, especially the preamble, it says we hold these truths
to be self-evident.
That all men are created equal and endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, and among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Now that person did something there, whether they wanted to do it or not, it was done.
But one thing we have to give the young man credit for, he testified the other day against his own father.
That's right.
In federal court. And his father was convicted. Now the thing that is disheartening about this, Dr. Brent, is that Kyle Rittenhouse, a 17-year-old young man, took up on himself to get an assault rifle, or AR-15, and leave one state and go to another state and kill 2 people and wound a third. And President Trump and all of the sycophants and white supremacists got behind him and made him a national hero and have raised millions of dollars for him to go to college and to live the good life in America.
By doing wrong. That's
Now,
something really bad.
we want to see what those same people are going to do for the children of
this
the
guy.
traitor that went to the U.S. Capitol to overthrow the government. We'll see what these people
Gonna send them.
do for them in terms of helping to provide a college education for
Yes,
them and
yes,
making sure that they can experience the American dream.
yes.
Because to me, those children, that young man and his sister, they are American heroes.
They are American heroes.
Because
And
they
nobody
could have
should
thought
not put
about
them to the side.
how they gonna survive, how they gonna have a roof over their head, how they gonna eat, how they gonna finish high school.
Yes.
They could have thought about all of those things.
And don't think that those children didn't think about it, but they thought about it the right way.
Yeah,
They didn't. They thought about if I go up here, what's going to happen to my life.
yeah.
They thought about it, but they decided to do what was right, not
In the sight
necessarily
of man and God.
Yes, and God, and that's the whole issue right there in a nutshell. That you have to make the right kind of decisions, whether people back you or
Whether
not.
you're old,
Middle
middle-aged,
age.
or young.
True, you got to make the right
Because
kind of
God is
decision.
not fooled.
No,
Nor is he mocked. You're going to reap what you sow.
exactly right. Exactly
And
right.
we just want to see, and we ought to appeal to the conscience of every
America,
God-fearing
a Texan even. Much.
American,
Every
especially
God-fearing Texan ought to do it.
the Texans who contributed to Kyle Rittenhouse.
Ought to be contributing to those children. That's true. I
Amen.
agree with you, Doc. That's one home run you just hit.
Well, it's
you just hit
it's
that
a
home
sad
run.
commentary on society. But I think we have to also recognize that America has some things it has to reckon with, because even on the southern border right now, you have Ukrainians and Russians there seeking refuge because of
What's going on?
war-torn violence going on between the two countries.
And the part of the matter though is that they seem to want these people in office that should not be in office. I don't know if the Russians do. At one time they were voting. I don't know if they're still voting. They're probably not voting at all. They don't
vote.
need to vote for the leader.
Well, they vote, but it's rigged.
It's a rigged vote, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they vote.
because they
have elections,
but they rig it.
but the outcome is already determined.
And that's what's trying to happen in the United States, and we cannot let that happen. We cannot. They talked about it when President Biden was elected, that it was rigged. It wasn't rigged. But if you go to the polls now, children, y'all got to go to the poll, because it seems like it's rigged to me. It's so different in so many areas and so many ways.
But if it was rigged by God.
Oh, okay. We're going to he let it happen.
Yeah, the rigging wasn't done on earth.
He
The
let it
rigging
happen.
was done in
But
heaven.
of course, we have to keep in mind, too, that what he said is going to come to pass. What he said is that we getting to that point almost. We are in the birth pains, if you all don't want to take it as such. We're in the birth pains. The birth pains have begun. And these countries and these people that are trying to take over, believing that they can and they will, and try to run this world the way they want it run, it's not going to last. And we don't want to be in that number. But while we are yet here, we supposed to change as much as we possibly can change from keeping things from going to haywalk. Until we are gone, we got to keep fighting on, and don't sit back and say, well, I know where I'm going. The issue is that God put you here to do certain things, and you need to do them. And whatever that is, from voting to giving, from loving and forgiving, that's what we're supposed to be doing. And if we don't do it while we are yet here, the whole world will go into chaos, surely. So we don't want it to go into chaos. We want it to be straight.
It's in chaos right now.
Yeah,
It's chaos.
we're looking at America changing every day, and the propaganda that is going out is definitely wrong.
Because we could have easily been involved in what is going on now in Russia.
Because you couldn't fight. We have the military.
January
As you
6th,
said in your article.
yeah, January 6th was a very, very eye-opening, heart-wrenching kind of experience, because the people that went there to Washington, D.C. And sought to overthrow a legitimate election,
Yes.
they had in mind usurping democratic institutions and a democracy and installing white autocracy.
Yeah.
And when we experienced what went on at the border, when President Trump was president, when former President Trump said openly, and he said this, that I have no problem with immigration as long as the people are coming from Switzerland, Ireland, or Norwegian, Scandinavian countries.
Well,
Which
that
meant
should have read. Everybody should have read that.
Well, it wasn't about reading it. He said it boldly.
I know
he came right out and told you.
But he will come. He came back. They should have read that too. But he came back and said something else different. That's the
he
issue.
said nothing different, because what he did was say, "I'm gonna build a wall."
Yeah, he did say he's gonna build a wall.
And even the Democrats was trying to say, we don't have to build a physical wall in order to protect
The United
secure
States from immigrants.
the borders, you know, because every country has a legitimate legal process by which people can immigrate
Or not.
to its society.
Right.
Now, America, we have a problem in terms of labor. We have more work than we have workers who are willing to do the work. So we don't have a problem with people immigrating to this country to do the grunt work, to pick the vegetables, to raise the hogs, the cows, and to do all that kind of stuff.
No, it's just not that. It's also the.
We don't have no problem with that.
They have Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But we don't want them to be what? Citizens. We don't mind you coming in here and doing the work, but even now with what's going on.
Now you hit it. You hit
with
it.
what's
That's
going
what I was
on
going
at
to
the
say.
border right now, you have Russians and Ukrainians at the southern border right now coming in as refugees. But as soon as individuals from Latin America and from Haiti or any African country.
Haiti, they don't even want you here.
Well, that's the whole point.
That's the
As
issue.
soon
They
as
don't
you
even
come
want the
there,
Haitis here,
They
period.
put you on a plane
And send you right back home.
and send you right back.
That's the truth.
So there's a big difference between a white refugee
and a black one.
and a black one.
Sure.
Because if you're a black refugee, you're an illegal immigrant.
Yes.
And you're on a plane and you headed out of here.
That's true.
You're not gonna get a
That's
chance.
true. That's the truth.
And we all understand why. We
We do.
understand why. Everybody understands why. But it's a thing that we do know. Right now, we got a war that's being waged of white on white. You got white autocrats waging a war against white democracy-oriented individuals who don't want to live under that kind of system.
Sure.
And the thing that Biden needs to understand as president of the United States, you can't allow a autocrat, wild man to threaten you
Or dictate to you.
with the use of nuclear weapons and all of that, and think that that's going to put the fear of God in your heart when we have
the same amount.
Well, we got more.
We probably have more.
And plus, we have, a Iron Dome, and we can shoot them down before they get to us. And not that we're talking about nuclear war. Nobody wants any kind of nuclear war in anything.
But don't use that as an excuse. That's what you're saying.
But you don't allow someone who is insane to talk insane to you, and going on with all this kind of foolishness and going on there with this white on white violence and killing up all of these people and destroying them and threatening you if you help them defend themselves, what I'll do to them and you. And that kind of insanity.
And
you
that
can't
kind
allow
of
that.
that's kind of, I don't know if it's called fear or cautiousness. I want to say it's cautiousness, but that kind of cautiousness can get you killed.
Because we do know that the United States is going to make Russia pay.
Yeah, well,
they're going to pay for all this damage because
that's what he said in his.
They have frozen their assets.
That's what he said in his speech.
The assets of Putin, the ones that they could find, and the oligarchs and so forth. They're going to make them pay these billions of dollars
back.
That the United States had to supply to the Ukrainians and other countries in order to defend themselves. They're going to make them pay to rebuild those people's society.
Well, it has always happened. It happened during World War II. It happened during World War I. All that the World War II that the Americans bombed Japan, we had to help them build it back up.
Right.
And it's a lot of trillions of dollars went into Japan to build it back up. And so that if you are whether it's a quiet war or a open war, those that won takes on the responsibility of helping that country get back together. And so naturally, it should be done the same way with Russia. And they should pay dearly for not only that, they should pay for dearly for the whole situation that they put the whole world in. It's not us by ourselves, it's a lot of other countries, France, Germany, England,
they
and all of those
resources.
They're putting out resources as well as we are.
Well, that's what the United States and other Western European.
But I like Biden what he said. He said we won't worry about, we'll go into our own reserves. We're going our own reserves. And America has a lot of reserves. America has a lot of oil. America has a lot of gas. But it has not been stated to the people that that we do have it. And so it's been kept quiet and not really, no one knows that the United States got a lot of oil and gas.
Know it.
And I mean, a lot of people don't know it. I mean, the regular people that don't know it would be the young people or something like that don't read or keep up. But I'm just saying, we have, and it's no reason why our gas should go up to $4 and $5 and all that other craziness, because somebody greedy and want to capitalize on something that is not necessarily to capitalize on. That's what we need to get rid of. All this companies and how they run this country, that needs to stop. That needs to stop. Well, It seems as if we ran out of time, but I want you all to know God loves you, and we do too. Keep your paper in your car and be blessed. Bye-bye.
Running over